Hello and welcome back to the Luke and Connie watch the previous 21 Marvel films in the Marvel Cinematic Universe in preparation for Avengers Endgame marathon preparation journey to road to thing.
I suggested the Avengers-thon and the Marvelathon.
And you can see why I didn't go with that.
No, but you list
Stark? Oh, Stark? You just said Stark.
Stark. I said start game.
Oh, Stark game. Yeah, that's awful.
Because it's the beginning of the end game. There's a road to the end game.
Stark.
The road to the end. I didn't say start.
Oh, I thought you was. Start game.
Start game.
End game. Congratulations, you've just completed a great game. Well, we still haven't got a title for it, but regardless, Marvella. No, it's not Marvella. It's Marvel.
Marvel-thon. Marvel-thon. There you go. That's it.
There you go. Okay. So we're continuing on with the second film, which came out also in 2008. Pretty close. I think Marvel Studios were doing their own thing, and then they were also working with Paramount and then Universal, because Universal had the rights to the Hulk, because they did the 2003 Ang Lee movie, which not a lot of people liked. So they did it again, they rebooted it. Actually, fun fact, this film, The Incredible Hulk, is the first movie we ever watched in a 24-hour movie marathon.
No.
This was the first movie of the 2012 original marathon.
Why?
It just was.
Why did we choose that?
I don't know. And actually, I remember saying in that marathon, we watched a legally downloaded copy because I'd already pre-ordered the film on Blu-ray, so I wasn't feeling too guilty about it. And I've never watched it on Blu-ray. So this is the first time watching this since I bought it 7 years ago.
I definitely haven't seen it since I've seen it with you.
No, yes,
So-
it has been 7 years now. So
Wow. Okay.
looking forward to revisiting this one. Obviously, it's not quite the same because Edward Norton did not continue as the Hulk. So it
And,
kind of doesn't feel like it's in the same universe, even though it is.
Fortunately, Liv Tyler didn't stay either.
Yeah, you really don't have you've got a real issue with Liv Tyler, haven't you?
It's just when she talks, which is kind of one of the main things of being an actress. I just don't like talking like this. And I don't like listening to it either. Hulk. Bruce. Help me. Frodo, no. No, Frodo.
I mean, you have a point, but it doesn't really bother me. I don't know. I guess some people just have their own things that annoy them, and
It's amazing how a woman with a dad with such an amazing and great voice has no voice at all.
and on that note, let's watch The Incredible Hulk. We are done with The Incredible Hulk, and
We watched it in one go.
we watched it in one sitting. And I think it's the shortest Marvel movie. It's an hour and 52 minutes. And where do you start? I love the introduction to the film, the opening credit sequence, which essentially sets up the entire origin of Bruce Banner being the Hulk. I love that this wasn't a whole movie about him becoming Hulk. You know, it wasn't the typical origin story movie. The Hulk origin is done in the opening credits, you know, with the music and the visuals. The visuals tell you all you need to know. And then he's living in Brazil and trying to avoid turning into the Hulk again. And the General Ross, played by William Hurt, is trying to track him down so he can use that kind of radiation poisoning that he has that was part of his research. I mean, the General was trying to create a super soldier kind of thing. He didn't tell Bruce Banner that, though. I don't know if that's the way that it went originally in the comics or indeed in the TV show that is so popular. A couple of references to that, of course, Lou Ferrigno being in the film in a cameo and also voicing Hulk in the movie, which was cool.
Really?
Yes.
Oh,
And
I didn't know that.
yeah, he also voices him in the Avengers. But then I don't think he did it past that. I think Mark Ruffalo took over, I'm assuming. Edward Norton playing Bruce Banner and the Hulk. Great actor. He's great here. Plays the part really well. Apparently, he decided to not continue. He didn't want to be known as Hulk. He wanted to do other roles, which you can still do.
I am, because I mean, he's great, but I just loved Mark Ruffalo as the Hulk.
Yeah.
Hulk. From the first time I saw him as him, I was like, yeah, that's it. Love it. He's great.
Yeah, I mean, you can say,
and
well...
I feel like it's more believable, especially with him and Scarlet. I just don't see Edward Norton and Scarlet.
Yeah, you can say, like, oh, well, Mark Ruffalo's been in more movies, so we're just used to him now. But I will say I do prefer Mark Ruffalo in that character. Even though Edward Norton does a great job here, he's very good. Tim Roth plays almost the secondary villain, the Abomination. I really like his character. He really is just a guy who loves fighting. And when he finds out that this monstrosity and the Hulk exists, he wants to fight it. He wants to have part of that kind of element inside him where he can face down with the Hulk. He doesn't want to shoot him down. He like that moment where he stands in front of him and says, "Is that all you got?" Knowing he's going to get kicked, knowing he's going to get almost killed, just because he has that much pride. And so he's a fun character who, what you see is what you get. He just wants the biggest challenge. He's probably, when he was in school, he probably went for the biggest kid in the playground, schoolyard, and probably picked a fight with him because he just wants to, sort of one of those kinds of people. William Hurt is great as General Ross. The moment in the university when it all kicks off and Betty runs out and the helicopter comes crashing down and Hulk kind of shields her and the flames just rip through them and the general just screams no because his daughter's there. Even though the lines in the sand have been drawn between him and his daughter, that at least showed you that he still cares somewhat. Like the way he shouted no was a very realistic, like, holy shit, my daughter might die. Even though it was his fault really for kind of ordering them to fire on him.
Probably a double no.
What do you mean?
Well, no, I killed my daughter.
That's what I mean. Oh, true. Yeah. So he's thinking about that as well. Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of weird because he's one of those people. He doesn't look like an older version of himself from like a few decades ago. He looks almost different. I don't know, because I imagine him in those films from the 80s where he just always seems so sleazy and I don't know, just seems like a different person almost.
I have no idea who he is, but he kind of reminds me of Sully.
Oh, from Uncharted, yeah, because of the mustache and the
grey hair.
The grey hair, yeah, sure. Liv Tyler, was she as annoying as you remembered her?
Yeah, I'm just like, I kept thinking when she was talking so close to his face, like, I wonder if she had garlic for dinner, and it's like, it's just really coming out. There's a lot of air.
You are exaggerating, but I will say that the way she says Bruce is very breathy. Yeah, it's the word kind of really lends itself to that kind of voice, I suppose. Anyway, the visual effects, not so great, not bad. It's just, I think
2008 though.
It is 2008, but it's a bit too dark. I like how they don't show Hulk at first. Like we see him in the shadows. The scene in the factory when he first comes out is great. I love the whole first act of the film when he's like living in Brazil and following his life, kind of on the run. Well, not even on the run, but in hiding, I suppose. And yeah, it's really good. I think it's a really good comic book movie.
It's a good story.
Yeah, it's got a good story. I like how he's corresponding with a Mr. Blue and trying to actively figure out a way to take this thing out of him. That's an interesting element to the story. So he's not just purely on the run and in hiding, he's actively trying to cure himself. He doesn't see the positive in anything of what he has. It's not great, and compared to the other Marvel movies, not as refined, I think. Again, the visual effects, I just think you look at what they did with the Hulk in the Avengers, it's so much better. But there are impressive moments to the visual effects, but there are kind of, so-so elements as well. But overall, I think it works, and I think it's...
For its time, I think it's really good.
Yes.
I feel like I remember seeing it when it, was very new-ish, and I was like, wow, that looks hell of a lot better than the other one, which I don't remember anything of.
Sure. I had forgotten most of this, although when scenes started happening, I'd remember it, like the scene in the cave when he takes her away from the university. I remembered that quite vividly, but as far as the whole movie, I'd forgotten a lot of elements about it.
It was very King Kongish.
In what sense?
The cave. He took her away.
Oh, yeah, true. Yeah, I suppose, yeah, when he takes, yeah, that's an interesting comparison. I love the part in the fight scene at the end between Hulk and Abomination where Hulk just smashes this cop car in two and puts both of them on his hands like like boxing gloves.
Yeah.
I thought that was a really cool beat in the action scene at the end. So probably worth noting that at the end he's going to kill Abomination, and Betty says no, and you were really like vocally kind of...
How are they going to cure that bastard? They couldn't cure the Hulk. What are they going to do with him? They can't kill him. He's the only one who can. They had the shot, and she's like, nah. He's killed so many people that are innocent. He might as well kill a bad guy. Rip his head off.
Mm.
Just saying.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I guess it's just the principle of it, I suppose. But
Principle.
But
He's
also
a bad person. He was evil. All he wanted to do was kill everyone, and then so why not just? There was no way that they were gonna kill him.
yeah, no.
What were they gonna do with him?
Well, I was going to continue on that point.
Oh, okay.
One, it's the principle, as in she doesn't want to see the man she loves murder someone. But two, they had Tim Roth signed on for a few sequels, so obviously they wanted
Did
to
they?
keep. Yes, he did.
Oh.
He signed on for multiple movies, and they were going to continue. The film did well, and they were going to do a sequel. And then obviously Edward Norton decided not to return, and then the rights to doing a Hulk movie, I think, stayed with Universal, which is why they never did one in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Really? So they can't do a Hulk movie?
Apparently they can't, which is why they kind of put bits of the Planet Hulk storyline in Thor Ragnarok, as opposed to having it be its own movie, even though it's not really Planet Hulk, but anyway. But apparently they can do it now, but I'm not sure. I mean, I don't know what
They should.
I don't know what the legalities of it are, or even if it would make sense post Endgame. Like, who knows what they're going to do with all of the original Avengers characters after that film.
Wait, did he die in Endgame or not?
Infinity War? No.
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 He lived, didn't he?
Yes. But, I mean, obviously all the people in Infinity War who died are going to come back. Well, not all of them, but most of them. So
Clearly, with the Spider-Man trailer.
I know, yeah. Spider-Man trailer, yeah. Anyway, so we'll get to that way down the
What's wrong with them? Why would they do that?
I'll
A
throw...
prequel makes more sense.
Well, maybe it is. We don't know. They haven't specifically stated that it's not...
Really?
Oh, you don't know? Does it say in the movie?
No, but you've said it is.
Apparently on the poster it says, like, summer 2019, like, on some sort of, like, stamp. I don't know. Regardless.
Isn't that when it's coming out?
No, but, like, it's supposed to be, like, a European, like, Peter Parker goes to Europe and there's, like, a stamp saying, like, his passport or something like that, and it's, like, summer 2019. Anyway, that could just be the marketing for the poster, who knows, but regardless, I will just throw this in here now while we're talking about it. I thought it would be really funny if post-Infinity War, Marvel held a press conference, like, super serious, and were like, you know, thank you everyone for making Infinity War such a big success. We'd just like to announce that we're cancelling Black Panther 2, cancelling Spider-Man 2. There will not be a Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 due to the deaths of those characters. And then just, like, leave it at that, just for a laugh. Like, we all know that they're doing it, but just, you know, take it off the slate. You know, they'd still make the movies, and we'd know that they were making them, but it would be fun, I think, if they did that. But obviously, you know, trailers are coming out. We know what's going on.
Yeah, and the Endgame trailer kind of reveals how they're coming back anyway.
How is it?
The logo?
Defont? Defont.
The logo.
Yeah.
In the beginning, when the trailer starts, it's all coming apart like they did in the movie. And
Yeah.
then in the end, when it just says Avengers or whatever, and then it all comes back together again.
We knew that it was...
Come on, that's the sign.
I suppose it is, but I mean, we knew anyway. Right, so in The Incredible Hulk is really good, but I will say, just the fact that Hulk is a big character in the MCU, and that Mark Ruffalo does such a good job as him, it's kind of hard to almost even accept this as part of the whole series, you know what I mean?
MCU.
Marvel Cinematic Universe, like all of the, you know. Do you feel that way, or do you feel
What
like
did
this...
you say?
because Mark Ruffalo is so good as the Hulk. Yeah. It's hard for me to accept this film as part of the overall series.
Yes.
Consider, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Even though it still is part of the story, I think we see Ross later on in the series as well. So
The general.
yeah, he pops back up again. I'll leave that one in for free.
Wow, that one was...
He pops back up again in Civil War, I believe, Captain America. So anyway, or maybe it was even the Winter Soldier. Regardless, so
is he the one messing with, what's his name? Captain America's friend.
I think so. Yes. Anyway, so any closing thoughts?
Nah.
No. What would you rate it? We haven't done ratings for like.
Did we rate Iron Man?
We didn't. Right. What would you rate Iron Man out of 5?
Oh, I don't... 5?
Yeah.
No, I can't. I don't know.
Oh no, she can't. She doesn't know. Oh.
No, can we just do the rating after the next one so that I can think about it?
Okay,
Can't
so
just
stay
throw
tuned.
this on me
Stay
now.
tuned for part 3, where we'll be talking about, I believe, Iron Man 2, and we'll give you our ratings for the first 3 films.
Really?
So,
That one came out before Thor?
it did, yeah. So it was Iron Man.
Jesus, Iron Man hogging.
Oh yeah, and we saw him at the end credits. Although I believe it was originally an end credits scene, and it feels like on the Blu-ray they just put it before the credits. I don't
Is there
know.
another one too at the end?
I checked and there wasn't.
Oh.
I feel like it was
Strange.
originally a post-credits scene, but maybe it wasn't. But we have Iron Man popping up, and kind of that's the connective tissue to the MCU. So you can't really say it isn't because he's in it. Iron Man's in the movie in a way, but it's still a really good film, and I enjoy it a lot. So there we go. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. She's already left the room.
Yeah, you said it was going to be a short one. So.
Short-ish.